god, I'm scared. I'm excited but nervous. What are you going to ask me?
So, hello everyone, welcome to the Very Messy Podcast. So today I have the gorgeous Charli Angel with me in the studio. So, can we start by you telling me a little bit about yourself?
Oh god, what do you want to know, darling?
I want to know everything.
So, I've been doing drag for 10 years, which I only came to the realisation recently, because it just feels like it's just passed by.
Yeah.
And drag, I never wanted to be a drag queen. I actually used to be scared of drag queens. When I first started coming out onto the scene, there was this kind of, in my head, there was this perception of drag queens as being like, well, I'm just going to say it, dirty old men.
Yeah, dirty, nasty,
like,
pervy.
Yeah.
Like
and
brash.
just use it as an excuse to like touch people up and stuff, which is not okay. And
well,
it just
really
do
that.
but it just really put me off drag. I was like, if that is what drag is, then I'm not here for drag. And it was so that was when I was 18, and then it was after I'd watched films like Party Monster and I'd learned about people like Lee Bowery that I got really into the whole club kid scene, and I realised there wasn't really a club kid scene anywhere, but the place that if I was going to find people that were a bit alternative and underground was going to be Manchester. Right. So I started going out in Manchester, went to this club night called the Hunty Games, which was these drag queens lip-syncing against each other like the Hunger Games. Michelle Visage was hosting it. This was before Drag Race was like the huge beast that it is now. And I met someone outside who is now Miss Blair. And I had paint like dripping down my face like Lee Bowery, and we just got chatting and we became really good friends. And then I started going out with Miss Blair, who wasn't a drag queen at the time. She used to do my makeup really femme, and I used to go out in like very alternative looks, so just like, you know, very gender, like, just what's the gender fuck? Yeah, just like people, it was like very feminine face, but I'd wear like weird outfits and stuff because I wanted to go down the club kid route. And it was just after people, like me going to Cha Cha Boudoir all the time and going out, people were like, when are you going to do drag? When are you going to do drag? And I was like, I don't want to do drag. Like,
so who was your favourite from Cha Cha Boudoir? Because that was a very phenomenal...
It was crazy. It needs to come back. We was
talking about Violet Blonde before.
Yeah.
And we was just saying how she is such a powerhouse in the trans community. Especially from like the kind of drag she started with.
Yeah.
To then what she's went to now.
Yeah.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
So where are you originally from?
So I'm from further up north, a little village that no one's ever heard of. It's called Worley.
No, Worley.
You do?
I do. A few.
In Worley, yeah. So that's where I'm originally from. It's a really sleepy village, but obviously Manchester's the nearest biggest city. So as soon as I could leave, which was when I was 17, dropped out of college because I hated it.
What was you studying?
Studying law, politics, drama, and media studies, like a proper mixed bag.
Fucking hell.
And I just hated college. I just hated college. I thought college was going to be like people had grown up a bit, and because I could have gone to sixth form, I could have gone to college, and I thought if I went to sixth form, you have to wear school uniform still, people are just going to be still kids. If I go to college where it's non-uniform, this was my logic, people maybe have grown up a little bit, and they won't be dickheads. Well, they were dickheads. I fucking hated it. Yeah. So after the first year, I dropped out, moved to Manchester to do a 2-year business course put into one, and ended up getting kicked out of that because I fucking hated it, and ended up getting back in by playing the gay card.
You've got to play those fucking cards, girl. No, reverse it.
And then I've just stayed ever since. So yeah, that was that. So I'm from up further up north, little village. Hated college, came to Manchester, and then I've just been here ever since. But yeah, I never wanted to be a drag queen. It just happened. It just slowly evolved into.
And now it is like your bread and butter, isn't it? Like.
Well, this is what I do. I do drag on the weekends, and people are always like, "Do you want to do more?" I don't actually want to do more. And fair play to the girls that, you know, are working like every fucking night under the sun.
I think we've put our hours in that way. You know what I mean? Like we've done the 5, 6, 7 nights a week, and now we're chilling out, taking a couple of days. Like I just do my Friday, my Wednesday, and then I'm just doing like my podcast things now, but I think people don't realise, especially like your physical and mental health, how much doing that many hours actually does to you. Especially when you're trying to be a creative. Like, I've never seen you not serve fucking look. You just always look impeccable, from the hair to the perfume to the wig to the outfit. You were always just on point. And doing that 7 days a week must be fucking hard.
I feel like if you're doing it 7 days a week, it takes a bit of the actual you away.
Touch yourself?
Yeah, because you're pretending to be someone. Like, drag it for a lot of people as a character, and you're pretending to be someone, so it just takes a little bit of you away, because you're just working in nightlife.
Yeah.
It's late. You're having to be on all the time. You know, you've got to be. You can't like be a dickhead to people, and you can't.
So many like.
Yeah, I know. And I try and be a nice person. Some days I'll have off days, but on the general whole, I try and be a nice person. And I feel like a lot of people say that to me in the village, like, oh, I've had so many experiences with drag queens that are really nasty. I just try and be a nice person, because I feel like being nice gets you further than being a dickhead.
100%, because people have this weird thing where they all think that if you overcompensate by being fucking cruel to everyone, it works. And in reality,
people just think you're a dickhead.
Yeah, like, you're just a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
And especially when people are coming to the village, because it's a safe space. Well, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this safe place where, whether you're gay, straight, black, purple, green, blue fringe, no fringe balls, yellow, everyone's supposed to get on. But I feel like sometimes if you do not fit the narrative of either being skinny, white or rich, you can get treated very differently on this village. So, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
I feel like especially a lot of baby queens, they think they have to be this like sassy, bitchy character to try and like just sort of establish themselves, and they've got to be this certain persona. When you don't.
And the drama, they're just fucking drama.
Oh god, I used to be involved in so much drama when I was younger, because.
Was that?
Yeah, but nowadays I'm like, oh no, it's too stressful that.
See, I've only ever had like one proper drama in the village, and it was the whole Hello Gate, you know, with Miss West.
No.
So, we'll bleep out the names. So, I was hosting, Zen was outside, Luga Bruga and Henri, sorry, isn't it, came up to me, hi babe, you okay, bleeding gorgeous.
Oh shit, no, I do remember this because I saw it all over Twitter. Yeah.
They didn't say hi to Zen when they come in, but Zen can be a bit unfucking approachable in certain situations. She can,
Team Luga.
yeah, so she's like screamed over the mic, well, don't fucking say hello to me. So Luga and Henri, these babies have just been like, fuck this shit, and then tweeted like to the girl in the blue wig, sorry for not saying hello, love your hair, hope you win. Yeah, and then Zenny West commented back to her, you fucking air shit, your shit, kill yourself.
Oh my gosh.
And then I was obviously at Katie Moogly back then, so I didn't know if it was in fucking Manchester or Wales. So I woke up, because I lived with Harley in the tranny shack back then in Fallowfield. So Harley comes in the room and was like, have you seen Twitter? And I'm like, what's Twitter? Like, I had to make a Twitter. I had to do a press statement. I had to do a press statement being like, Zenny West is crazy, I'm nice, I love these girlies, slay, slay, slay. But it was like a proper thing. It was like a proper thing. They were boycotting us until the girls did that. So I was like, oh fuck, so that was my last bit of drama. And then I said after that, namaste, my darlings, not dreaming again. Not dreaming again. One thing I did see though, did you spend time in Malaga?
Yeah. Just because Mum and Dad love going on holiday there.
So I spent most of my summers in Torremolinos.
Oh right, yeah. Well, I've only just been. So last time I went to Malaga, that's the first time I've been to Torremolinos. But I'd been to Malaga. That was my 6th time.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I'd been to Torremolinos. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed.
Was that?
Yeah, because everyone's like hyped it up as this gay mecca. And I went around and thought, oh, this is just Blackpool and steroids.
Literally.
Blackpool in the sun, darling.
The only good thing about Torremolinos was where we used to stay. So it was at my Auntie Gaynor's house. Rest in peace, Auntie Gaynor, for slay. But they had like a pool on the complex, and there was like this big like pool house in the middle. And oh, it was lovely in there. It was lovely in there. You just find some lovely boys in that lovely.
But yeah, I just went around Torremolinos last time I went, and not a fan, to be honest. Sorry to break you.
I've not been on a plane since about 18. I was like, it's just a statistic now, Mama. Anywhere I can't have a fag more than half an hour, I'm not fucking going. I'm not fucking going. It's not part of me. It's part of my morals, and I don't believe if I can't have a cigarette, I'm not going. Don't believe.
Well, you can drive to Spain, can't you?
Do you think they're gonna give me my licence back after last time?
Oh gosh.
So
it's all coming out now.
Yeah, I'm terrified of driving. Terrified.
I can't drive.
I'm nervous wreck, mate. Anything where the sky could fall on me, I'm not doing nothing. And I will think of things that will make me fucking panic about something. So I'll just try and avoid things like that, really, to be honest.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah. So...
What about magic carpet?
Oh, I do like a bit of magic, my darling. Carpets, they do match the drinks, to be fair, today. But, quick conversation change. So, you are hosting at the area now.
Yeah.
How is that going?
So, I've worked at loads of places in the village, but probably about, I don't know, like 3-4 years ago, started working at On Bar.
Yeah.
And I was one of the 4 main queens there, and we used to dance around and host and chat to people. That was our job. And then when the company Orange Nation, who owns Fire in London, they own On Bar, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Orange Nation On Bar. They bought Tribeca and turned it into Area. And when that happened, they were like, we've had a discussion, we want you to be the face of Area. Do you want to move over there? And I was like, yeah.
Stunning.
Why not?
Yeah.
So I moved over there, and I feel like it's been open 2 years now, Area. And recently, over the past few months, I feel like people are starting to pay attention to it, and people are aware of it. And previously, when I've said Area to people, they're like, "Oh, where's that?" Now, I feel like it's making a name on the map.
No, it really is. It really is.
Because you were doing something there on Sunday, weren't you?
Yeah. So I was at On Bar. I was supposed to be at On Bar on Sunday, but because half the fucking storm drains in the canal are full of cement, we flood every 5 minutes. Right. So after a cheeky impromptu change, we was at the Area,
right.
And it's fabulous. I must say.
That's great then.
Honestly, I felt like Paris Hilton on them DJ decks. So I was like spinning this over here, played all the Doja Cat, my darling. Oh, we're very camp. I love Area. I really love Area. It's a really good space, and I think the way that you host is very good. I think you're a very approachable drag queen, and I think especially because I think people have their lanes when it comes to drag. I think usually people are either impeccable with the look or they're a host. It's very rare that people find the fine-tuned middle, and I feel like you've got it. Where you take both sides of it very seriously at the same time, and you just create a really good space. I remember one of the first proper nights out after I started doing drag was you was hosting. Was it in Area? No, On Bar. Was you hosting?
So the first ever place that I started working was next to Velvet, to the right of Velvet. Used to be called, well, I don't want it, it's some Velvet event space now, but before that it was number 1 Canal Street, and before that it was Bandit, Mugger and Thief, and that's where I started off, but it was called Taurus originally, and they kept the name Taurus for a little bit, and then they changed to Bandit, Mugger and Thief, and that's where I started doing the library.
That was it,
yeah.
That was it, the library, because that was your show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck, I knew, so I was very, very drunk back then, so it is just flashbacks. Yeah, so if you don't know what the library is, it's a couple of years ago. So do you want to tell them?
So how do I explain? Basically, this makes me sound like such a dickhead, but my ex-boyfriend, I've only ever been in one relationship. He bought that bar with his business partner. They wanted a gay bar. They'd been looking for places, and they found Taurus, and they did it all up, and he was like, because he'd seen obviously my progression of going out every now and then in makeup, and then slowly progressing into drag, he was like, if you want to do some sort of event here, this is your opportunity to put something on. And at the time, everyone's best mate was doing, but it was called a different name. No.
Shitbag. He called me a crackhead when I saw him in Cruise, and then when I stopped drinking, I pulled him up on Canal Street and went, "You're a fucking cunt. You called me a crackhead. I want a fucking apology." And he started crying and ran away.
Oh, gosh.
So yeah, fuck you. You shit, you shit, you shit, and you steal fucking pink tickets and that shit. Big up to Bella de Ball.
Say
sorry,
how it is, darling. Don't mince
you know
your
what I mean?
words.
Charlie thinks you're lovely. She don't get involved in politics, but I think you should.
So yeah, when you'd pay for a meet and greet, it would literally be very much of a case of you're allowed a photo and then you're moving along.
Yeah,
you don't no time to talk to them. So I was like, right, I think this could be done better for the fans. And at that time, Drag Race UK wasn't a thing. There wasn't all these franchises. It was literally just Drag Race US.
Yeah.
And they just I think it was like season 7 when I started doing the library. And I was like, we can do this, but better, cheaper, so much better experience for people. So I was like, I went to Anaphylactic, had a meeting with Anaphylactic, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Would you be interested? And she was like, well, what are you doing? So you're basically doing the same idea. And I explained, well, I want to do it better than he does. I think there's like a gap. And it became this like sort of cult thing. Like, I feel like a lot of people around that time, you were either very much Holy Tea or you're very much the library. And this is where I used to be involved in drama all the time. Like, me and Paul used to hate each other so much, and he would say things online about me and I would say things on Facebook about him, and it actually made me sell loads of tickets. And I remember one time because I did events at Bandit Mugger and Thief, but also I did events with Cruise, and Cruise said, why don't you go down to the Ritz with loads of leaflets, a leaflet lanyard, and go and leaflet audience, like the big queue. And I was like, you know what, genius idea. I've got a captive audience there of Drag Race fans. I'm not having to pay loads of money to Facebook for Facebook ads. I'm going to go and leaflet. Well, that didn't go down well with Paul or who used to be in his pocket at the time.
Yeah.
And she came storming out with loads of security. They surrounded me and they were like, you can't do this. And I was like, well, I can actually, because I've got a landlord from the council.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue leafleting. And they tried to intimidate me and surround me. And I was like, you can try and intimidate me all you want, but I'm actually within my rights to do this. So I used to be really cheeky and just do stuff like that. And I remember the backlash online, wrote status about me, wrote status about me. But it's so true that no publicity is bad publicity, because actually people like saw through their version of events and started to side with me, and it actually worked to my benefit. So the library was me as a support act, Anaphylactic, Miss Blair and Narcissa Nightshade. We were the 4 queens, the 4 librarians, and then we used to have a Drag Race US queen as the main act. So the first ever person we had was Katia, which was insane, and she'd just come fresh off the season. We didn't realise how big she really was. It was just kind of a guess, because when you're a promoter for like Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race events, and they have no track record, you're kind of guessing who's going to be popular with the fandom. Or I was constantly trying to hear little tidbits of rumours like who's done well, etc., to try and book like someone out of the top 3, but would try and book them, I would try and book them. It was a very crazy time, and I remember once I booked Acid Betty, and me and all the librarians, we were sat having like a celebratory dinner at Narcissa's flat, and then I got an email from Acid Betty's agent saying, take down all tickets now, take down all promotion, and we're cancelling this event with you. And what had happened is people had offered more money to Acid Betty, so she cancelled with me and booked with. But then it was actually a saving grace, because she only ended up selling 20 tickets. He'd done it to spite me, but actually came and bit him in the ass, and it actually really helped us, because then we hadn't made a loss with her. So it was always a bit of a guessing game, and then Club Kids came along, and we know how that went. Terribly.
Fuck.
So, but yeah, it got to a point where I just lost. There was loads of stuff going on in my life, and I just sort of lost the passion that I had for it.
Yeah. Would you ever bring it back?
Maybe. I think we should do a reunion at some point, me and the girls.
I think that'd be amazing, because look at, like, fuck, every single person you've just mentioned, including yourself, are all powerhouse staples on the village. Now, you know what I mean? Like, when you think of Manchester Drag, you do think of Narcissa, you do think of you do think of Anaphylactic, you do think of Blair. Like, you're all fucking powerhouses. And this is why I was saying before, like, you are such, like, a big, like, you're the tits. You are the tits. Like, you are. Like, you have been around for so fucking long. You haven't done anything particularly crazy. You've not fucking, you've kept your hands to yourself. You're not offering people gigs if they shag you like until they find out you're a tranner, and then they don't know have sex with you because you have charging. Did happen. Ask me lawyer. There's one thing that I really do love about you, and it's kind of like your spirit. I think you've just got a really good soul. Like, I get a really good energy off you. I just always get really good vibes. Like, you, in the moment when you speak to someone, you're looking at them, you give a shit in what you're fucking saying. And I think in this industry, we all work with people, and we all meet people who are like, oh, love that person, love that person, love that person. But there's very few people who are actually like, I could actually like sit and chill with you because you fucking sound, you know what I mean? And there's not many people that are like that. A lot of people are very like, socially climber, or they want you for a certain reason, or it's just like, hey girl, love you, I've got to do this because we all do the same job. On
that, I've noticed over the years how, you know, when I've been running events or running brunches and stuff, people will lick your arse because they want a booking.
Yeah.
And you can just see right through it, because as soon as you're not doing that event, or as soon as you've stopped doing that brunch, they're not interested.
I could literally name. I started following her back, and I'm like, oh, right, okay. Say I used to be twice a fucking week, but you don't even fucking follow me on Instagram. That's a bit fucking funny, isn't it?
On that though, people say to me, oh, you don't follow me back, and I'm like, it's not actually that deep. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like I've unfollowed someone. It's not that deep that I've unfollowed you. I feel like people with social media get in it a bit too much, and they're like, oh my god, you've unfollowed me, like, I'm thinking of 101 reasons why, and it's probably just because, actually, I was just having a clear out, we don't really speak that much, and I'm just getting rid of you because, not because I dislike you, just because I just want to get my following count down.
Yeah, no, I get that, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? It's not that deep. But some people take it, I mean, you must, after what you've just said. I felt particularly a little bit vexed about this, because a certain person that wasn't following me is actually kind of a good friend of mine. Oh, really?
Yeah, Aaron was like, at the point, I thought we were, and then I was like, oh, right. I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, pussy slay. I'm a very emotional person, though, me. Like, I take a lot of things, like, well, not a lot of things, but things like that I do kind of take a smidgen a little bit personally. Because I just think, like, we all work around each other, we're all supposed to be supporting each other. Yeah, I just felt a bit vexed. I'm a Gemini, though.
I'm quite a sensitive person, and people can, even though I've heard everything under the sun, in terms of, like, names, whatever, sometimes things can get under my skin, like certain things, but I don't pay attention to who's following me and unfollowing me, and I can't actually be arsed. But yeah.
I think it's definitely something I need to get better at.
Yeah, I think maybe you need to work on that, hun.
Yeah, because when I was pissed, I didn't give a fuck. But the last 6 months, let me tell you, I've been keeping an eye on things now, and I'm like, oh, really? And I get so sad about it, and literally, you've kind of just reassured me then, because I'm like, I think everyone hates me. Like, we're speaking with the podcast and the show, I was like, they've not replied to me, I think they hate me. And
I saw her 2 days later, she was like, I feel like I couldn't, I've not messaged her back, I've just been busy. As I told you, I was busy.
I was like sobbing, I was like, they hate me, they don't like me, they don't want to be my friend. Such a pick me on the slide.
There's people that we know that are drag queen, best friends in the village, and
Yeah.
they block each other every 6 months, and they'll work together every day. They're best friends, but like, I can't speak to you outside of here.
Yeah.
Do you know who's like that?
Me? Who's any West? I only added her back on Snapchat last week.
No. I've blocked out people we work with.
I don't have any of them. No. Can't do it. So.
Anyway, sorry, we digress.
Yeah, I digress. So, favourite fashion designer?
Oh, hair removal. Favourite fashion designer? That's a good question, to be honest. That's a really good question. Probably Mugler.
So, what era of terror was
So, like the 90s.
Yeah. Oh.
Because he disappeared for a really long time, but his fashion shows used to be amazing, and the outfits, like now, people are still referencing the looks from back then, the designs, and obviously he's had a resurgence. R.I.P. He's not alive anymore, but his brand now lives on.
Thanks to Cardi B.
Well, I mean, she's worn so many of his archival looks, but yeah, Mugler is just the creme de la creme, darling. Yeah. Yeah, so it would have to be Mugler.
A bit of Terry wear.
Yeah.
So if you could pick, say, just one fashion collection, it doesn't have to be from Terry.
I'd probably say, is it Alexander McQueen Atlantis? What's it called?
Palos Atlantis.
Yeah, that's the one.
Genius.
Yeah.
Mine is also
with
McQueen.
the armadillo heels.
Highland Rape's my favourite. I think it was just so beautifully executed, and I just think he was just a genius, wasn't it? Completely ahead of his time.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
fashion designer.
Fuck. Yeah. So, going from there, who would you say is your favourite drag queen in Manchester Village?
That's a really good question.
For performancing.
Ooh. That is a really good question, because I feel like when I first started doing drag was really underground, and like at places like the library and Cha Boudoir, when you did a performance, it was like a story. So you'd come up with a story to explain something, whereas nowadays I feel like performance is very boom da clack clack clack, death drop, and you don't really get that story. So I feel like I want to see more storytelling on stage rather than just like the same choreo for a different song.
Yeah, like Alexa playing Kid Petros.
One performer that I really like at the moment, who's doing an amazing cabaret show, is Palace Plastic.
So, I've been following her. I don't know much about her. I know I want her on the podcast. Because she's doing, is it Plastic Palace, isn't it?
So her drag name is Palace Plastic, and she does Plastic Cabaret.
Yeah, Plastic Cabaret, sorry.
Which is now at Area.
Yeah. Slay, Pussy Slater, the gorgeous Plastic Palace. Now, when
Palace
is
Plastic.
Palace Plastic for?
No, because I've done shows, I've done brunches with her, and I've said, introducing to the stage, Plastic Palace, because I think personally that runs off the tongue a little bit better. Definitely. And I've had this conversation with her. I was like, do you not think it should be Plastic Palace? And she's like, no, it's Palace Plastic. It's basically saying like, oh, I think it should be Angel Charli.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I've literally been saying Angel Charli.
I've been screaming all day.
Our Angel Charli's last
Angel's
one
coming later, and I go, who's Angel?
Like
It's with Charli. And I go, her name's not Angel.
Fucking nightmare for it.
But I love her style of performing because that is storytelling. Yeah. So she'll come up with a concept like, I was DJing at Plastic Cabaret last Friday, and she encompasses like live projection visuals behind her. So she'll pre-record stuff and then play it behind her, and it's very Sacha Velour. That's the only person that I could.
What time is that on a Friday? When's the next one?
The next one's 28th of February.
Does she wear a black and white dress on?
Next show 28th of February, Plastic
Cabaret area.
Cabaret area.
Yeah, 28th of February.
28th of February, we'll put the links in the
28th of February,
my darlings. Tickets available now?
Yeah, she actually announced the February show today.
Yeah, stunning.
I think the theme's Welcome to the Freak Show.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's going to get a bit twisted.
It's going to get a little bit spooky, ooky, and a little bit scary, twisted, and a bit freaky. Freaky deaky.
So, what was it like growing up on the village? Like going from being a customer, living your best life in the club, being a club kid, to being a staple, village staple? How was that? How does it feel to be like, wow, I went from that to that?
I've never like it's because it just happened, you know, very gradually. I used to think I was so cool that I was working as a drag queen and like, you know, especially at Pride and stuff. I remember one of the best prides I ever had was working at Bandit, Mugger and Thief, and they have these big sash windows, and we had me and two other drag. There's 3 sash windows. If you walk past, you can still walk past it because it still exists. Yeah. But these big 3 sash windows, and I remember Kate Moss, who was a drag queen at the time, who now lives in London, and I can't remember.
Doesn't she?
She does, but she's more of an MUA now.
Right.
We were like hanging out of these windows and dancing in these windows, and I just thought, this is so fucking cool. And I saw like all my friends, and they were like, oh my god. But I couldn't do fucking makeup to save my life back then, so I had big sunglasses on, because I could never do eye makeup. I used to be so paranoid and anxious about my makeup because I felt like I had to be at a certain level and all my friends could do makeup around me, and I've just like started doing drag and I don't know how to do a bloody thing. So I used to like just hide myself behind sunglasses or make it look really smudged and stuff to pretend that, oh, it's supposed to be like that, but actually it's just because I couldn't do makeup. And I used to glue my eyebrows down, but I never used to draw eyebrows on because I didn't know how to do eyebrows. But I was like, no, that's my look.
Oh, so
you know,
you
very
like
alien.
a cheeky fringe barb?
No, it was just I had no eyebrows. I would glue them down, no eyebrows.
I love a cheeky eyebrow look though.
And
I think there's something really sexy about it.
That used to just be my whole thing.
I fucking love that.
And then one day I started doing eyebrows. I started using my own eyebrows, and that's what I do now. I use my own eyebrows, and I tape my face up, so it lifts them up.
I want to get into tape facing.
It's easy to do.
That's like my next thing I want to get into.
It's easy to do. You just get tape and then
it's the only thing
glue
I don't
it
take
and go. There you go.
I feel like I want to do it.
But yeah, what was the question? Oh yeah, what's it like from going from a customer to drag queen? Well, I've never really thought of it like that because it's just been a gradual thing, and to be honest, I don't really go out that much unless I'm working, and a lot of people have never seen me out of drag because I've never
seen you out of drag.
Like, when I was younger, I used to go out all the time. I used to be I used to be on GAY Terrace every bloody night, obsessed.
Yeah, and actually smoking.
I can't remember the last time I went in GAY because I'm just not obsessed with it anymore. I'm just not obsessed with going out that much anymore. I like to work, and then I usually finish work at 4 AM, so I'm not going out to cruise or wherever after because by the time I've got there at 4 AM, everyone's on a totally different level to me, and I'm sat there in a booth like, oh my god, kill me now. Why am I here?
Yeah, very much that.
So I'm very much like, I like to go to work, do my job, go home.
Yeah.
Because going back to what I was saying before, I feel like every week it takes a little bit out, like of my soul away. Because working nights is actually... It's hard. So hard.
Are you
working
spiritual?
Not really, no.
You know?
No.
I find it like it's spiritually draining. Like I feel like there's a lot of like juju in the village anyway. And then I think every 5 minutes when someone's hugging you and they're like putting all of their fucking bullshit.
You're taking a bit of energy away from you.
Yeah, because they'll be like...
But I just feel like for me it's social battery.
Yeah.
Because I'm speaking to so many people. I'm just drained.
I get that.
I'm just like, oh god.
I get that. So what do you do when you're not... What do you do when you're just like chilling at home? What are your hobbies? Do you like Pokemon? Do you like Pokemon?
I do like Pokemon. My cat's called Mew. My hairless Sphinx called Mew.
You've got a Sphinx?
Yes.
I really want a Sphinx called Chemo. Oh my god, he's delicious.
It's called Mew. So yeah, he's named after a Pokemon. I grew up with Pokemon. I used to go to the newsagents with my few pounds that I had, and go and buy Pokemon cards.
I love that.
And stupidly, when I was a kid, I decided to laminate all my Pokemon cards because Mum and Dad bought me a laminator, and I was obsessed with laminating everything. So all my best cards, my best shiny cards, were fucking laminated. And when I went to like events at Woolworths to go and like, you know, play, everyone was like, I'm not trading my fucking Pokemon cards with you because you've laminated them.
Them all.
But my mum and dad always bring this up, that I used to laminate things like envelopes, toilet paper, flowers. I used to just be obsessed with laminating things. I used to have such a thing for stationery as a kid. And my favourite thing to do after school was go to W.H. Smith and buy smelly gel pens.
No, I love this because I had like a stage one summer where, do you remember that magazine you used to get at school a couple of times a year where it'd be like, you can buy like the decorations that you used to use, you know, for the production stage things that'll go up on the walls in the primary school and stuff, like things like...
Yeah, it was like a school stationery catalogue thing. Yeah.
I bought loads of stuff to make my own thing at home.
No.
And so my bed was here. I used to share a bedroom with my brother. Shout out Christopher, love you, babe. But like his bed was here, my bed was here, and above my bed, I made this under the sea, like, cover art, like it was like a fucking reception classroom, and I was obsessed with it. My autism used to shine with things like that. It was quite fabulous. So
I used to order stuff from that catalogue. I used to ring up and be like, oh, can I order this, this and this? And they used to think I was a girl, because I was literally in primary school. And they'd be like, oh, Miss, last name, I'm not going to out my last name.
Yeah,
Miss Angel, yeah, where are you getting this delivered to, blah, blah, blah. And I used to send, like, cheques, because you could send cheques, this makes me sound really fucking old, but you could send cheques in the post or cash in the post, because I used to have PayPal or anything like that, and I didn't have a credit card. So yeah, I used to order all these bits, and think I was really fucking cool, because I was ordering, like, old school stuff that, you know, it's supposed to be for a school. But yeah, things that I do in my spare time, I've got 3 obsessions that I watch YouTube videos on. So, North Korea.
obsessed.
Yeah,
right.
I really want to go to North Korea because you can go.
I really want to go, but I don't feel like letting me back out.
So you can go to North Korea. The only way you can get there is by flying from Beijing or Russia or getting a train. You can't just get like a flight
No,
from
you can't
here.
just like...
So
and you can tell you to fuck off when you get there as well.
So you can
You
get
like
there,
saying
and if you don't follow their rules, you are absolutely fucked.
Yeah, but I'd love to go just for shits and giggles.
Yeah,
It'd be
because
fun, wouldn't
I
it?
feel like it's just a time capsule, and I feel like there's gonna maybe be a point sometime in the future where something crazy goes on there, and you won't ever get to see it. And I want to go and see it before any craziness happens. I mean, they're apparently sending troops to Ukraine at the moment for Russia and stuff. But yeah, it's just like stuck in time.
But this is a reminder, guys, to use your fucking mouths when it comes to politics, because if you don't open your fucking mouths, people get a bit ballsy and start fucking trying to take over countries and being too busy. But shout out to North Korea for being a pussy slave. Not Kim. Not Kim, though. The only Kim we like in this house is Kardashian. Thank you, my love. So, on... It's the Very Messy Podcast. What do you fucking want? So, on of being young and being gorgeous and being fabulous, what was your first memory of being maybe a little bit fruit or a bit coy? How old was you?
I remember being in the Trafford Centre.
Right.
And have you ever seen Kath and Kim, where it's like, there's this video on social media of Kath and Kim, and she sees like words like les and bean and stuff, and she's like, oh my god, lesbians. She's like freaking out. I feel like I was in the Trafford Centre once, and I used to go on MySpace all the time. I used to speak to people on MSN, and I came to the realisation that I might not be into girls, and I remember being in the Trafford Centre and being like, oh my god, what if people know? What if people know? People know? What if people know? And it was just kind of crazy, because I remember trying to tell people at school, but the school that I went to was known as the Farmers' School, and it was on top of a hill in the countryside, middle of nowhere, and people being gay just did not come up in conversation. It was just not a known thing. And I'm always so jealous when I speak to people that have gone to schools where they've not been bullied and stuff, and they've been out and they've been gay, and people have not given a shit. But where I went was very old-fashioned, and no.
How old was you when you came out then, if you don't mind?
So I came out to my brother when I was 18, but it took me all day of trying to say it to him, and he just said to me, spit out what you're trying to say. And I said it to him.
Every single person that I've interviewed today came out to the brother that's the first person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I came out to my brother when I was 18, and he couldn't believe it, because he thought, he was like, yeah, but you get along with girls so well, and like we've been on holiday and stuff. and I'd been really good friends with girls on holiday, and he was like, "Oh, I thought you're just shy around girls," and I was like, "No, I'm actually I get along with girls really well."
Yeah.
And then I told my parents when I was 19, I left them a letter and ran off to Manchester Pride. I left them this 4-page letter that I stayed up all night writing, and I was like, I'm just fed up with lying, saying I'm going to my friends when actually I'm out in Manchester, and blah, blah, blah. But my dad already knew, because I remember when I was younger, I really wanted a van, like my first car, because I've had driving lessons and stuff, but I really wanted a van, and my dad used to be like, "Oh, I bet you can't wait until you get your pussy wagon." And I remember one day he changed the terminology when we were in the car, it switched, and me just noticing that little switch from pussy wagon to like love machine.
No, I thought
I was like,
pussy wagon.
no, I was like, why is it turned from pussy wagon, which is very specific to girls, to now love machine? I was like, that's very strange. So I clocked that there might something might be up, and basically what had happened is my brother told a friend, that friend had told his dad, that dad had told a mutual friend of my dad, and it got to my dad that your son,
he's a bit fruity.
Yeah. So that's why the switch happened. Anyway, when I left this letter, my dad, who's really old-fashioned from a very rural village, I thought I just imagined, he's going to kick me out, because you hear that happens with so many people.
No, you do.
And my dad was the one that took it so well. He came up into my bedroom, and I was like crying, and he was like, "I will love you no matter what, if you were blue, you're purple, just as long as you're happy and as long as you're safe, I don't care." But my mum, who I thought would be really okay with it, was actually the one that didn't take it that well, which really shocked me.
Yeah.
And was really crazy. But now they're both absolutely fine with it. They don't give a shit. They just, all they care about is me being happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they always just go on about my ex-boyfriend all the time. They're just obsessed with him.
Oh, do you like it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Yeah. They're just obsessed with him. I mean, we're best mates, me and my ex. I still call him my ex because that's the only relationship I've ever had. But they're obsessed with him. They're always going about him.
There's nothing worse than that, is there?
They're always like, "Oh, how's Edward? How's Edward?" And I'm like, "Oh, what about me?"
Yeah, what about me? Shout out to Edward, pussy slime. So, we are getting to the end of the episode. So...
We're getting towards the end of the episode. All the time has been ticking.
It's gone quick on it. It's gone quick. But, oh shit. TikTok. I eat TikTok, yeah, right, loves. So, what have you got planned for, say, the next 6 months? What things can we expect to see from this angel?
That is a very good question. I don't know, to be honest. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I now assist AMP, the events manager, at Bar and area with events. So I do like a lot of background, like behind the scenes stuff, social media stuff with them. I've got like ideas of events that I've wanted to do for so long.
Yeah.
And I think my problem sometimes is that I think too small, and I'm scared of thinking too big because I'm scared of like things failing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think I just need to think, fuck it.
Yeah.
Take the risk, because with no risk, there's no reward.
Yeah. 100%.
And I do just love running events. Like, I've run so many events over my life. When I was younger, I used to run craft fairs, farmers markets when I was younger, which is a totally different world from drag. And then the library, I used to have a weekly cabaret show called Charli's, where I used to have like 3 or 4 queens performing. I used to perform and host. Used to do that every Friday. And then brunches, I've run drag brunches over the years. You know, loads of shit. I've done loads of shit.
You've been out there.
I've done loads of shit, darling. But it's crazy to look back and think, oh my god, I've done all that.
Yeah, you did that.
I did that.
You did that, Mama. Let me tell you. Yeah,
so I don't know what I've got coming up, but I've got loads of events ideas. Want to do loads of stuff. Everyone needs to come and visit Bar area and Vanilla.
Yeah, bleeding gorgeous. So, final question. What would you say, or what piece of advice would you say to someone that is queer, might be a bit scared, might be a bit confused, isn't entirely sure what's going on? What piece of advice would you give them?
So, if you're young and you're queer and you're like, oh my god, what's going on? I feel like thoughts and feelings can be very confusing, but if you are 100% that you're, you know, part of the LGBT community, and you want to come out, make sure you do it, I would say, when you're independent. So maybe not necessarily, this is my advice, maybe not necessarily, not because I've had a bad experience, but maybe do it when you've moved out, maybe when you're at uni, or when you're fully independent, so you've got your own place, you're not relying on your parents. So if, you know, they do have an adverse reaction, if they do don't take it the best way, then you're not relying on them. You don't have to go back to theirs and live under a roof that's not very accommodating for you. You're in a safe space. You're living somewhere that you don't rely on anyone else except yourself. So do it on your own terms. And also nowadays more, I feel like you don't really need to come out.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be so much pressure to come out. Because straight people don't have to come out and be like, oh, I'm straight. So why do gay people or queer people or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Why do we have to feel? I mean, good for you if you want to come out, but I think if I could do it again, I think I would just rock up to my parents and just be like, this is my boyfriend. Yeah. Instead of being like, hi, I'm gay. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think I'd come out as early as I did. I think I'd go again.
Why? What age did you come out? 7?
Yeah, I was like, I'm a faggot. Yeah, like when I was 7, I was like, I'm gonna be a mom. I'm gonna have babies.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a woman.
That's very, very young.
Yeah, like there's been like therapy the worst. It's like, yeah, mama, let me tell you.
Oh my goodness.
My episode's gonna be a bit spicy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh well, I've been messing with you, Claire. You've been Charli Angel.
I have indeed, darlings.
This has been the Very Messy Podcast. And I'll see you next time, my darlings.
Stay messy.
Always stay messy. Thank you so much. No, that was a slide. Love that.
That's the headset.
Loved that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
I've set up them chairs perfectly, let me tell you.
Okay.
It's beautiful. And just so funny, like fire and ice.